So, can you communicate to me, not deliberately, not consciously, the danger of my irresponsibility?
Although I wouldn't be the one communicating. In the fact of that relationship, there would be a responsibility. And if there's a responsibility and if there's any danger to it, it will express itself naturally.
The very responsibility acts.
And being responsible, I don't accept this relationship or deny it. Either the fact of the relationship is there or it isn't.
War go down, peace go
up. Man like from a rock.
Last time we said when we'd next come together, we'd talk over this question of responsibility. This is a word that has showed up a couple of times in our dialogue in a few different contexts. My responsibility, your responsibility, our responsibility. So today we said we'll go into this question of responsibility. What does it mean to be responsible? And what is our responsibility as human beings? We've said in the past that there is goodness. Goodness which is not the opposite of the bad. Goodness which is not put together by thought. Goodness which is not located in time or space. If there is such a goodness, it is not necessary that things be bad. So basically, our responsibility as human beings is to find a way to live a good life. In our relationships, within ourselves, in solitude or in public. Because there is goodness, there is responsibility. Denying responsibility, there's no relationship to what is good. So we know there is responsibility, but we don't quite know what that is.
And it wouldn't be quite right to say that we're responsible for the good either.
No.
Hence goodness, hence responsibility. So in light of goodness, what is our responsibility? You say basically it is our responsibility to live a good life. What is meant by responsibility?
I think I have various kinds of responsibilities. Responsibilities to my friends, responsibilities amongst the family, responsibility in work or in school. I feel that I have these various responsibilities. And in thinking about responsibility, I feel responsibility is something of a burden. Because I've taken up these various responsibilities or had them placed upon me, and I have concerns about my ability to meet these responsibilities. And also, I find that in trying to meet these various responsibilities, the responsibilities themselves are in conflict. When I deal with my work very, very seriously, it takes me away from my family, my spouse, my children.
Perhaps, if not directly, perhaps indirectly, in conflict. Certain energy consumption, productivity placed in a certain field, much like a zero-sum game.
Mm-hmm.
Energy spent here means energy spent not elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I see. So conflict in this way as well.
Mm-hmm. Energy and also time.
Oh, sure, yeah. Space.
So thinking about responsibility
Mm-hmm.
and trying to fulfill the responsibility that I think about, I encounter responsibility as something of a problem.
I see. Because I've taken it upon myself, I feel obligated. In fact, abandoning any such responsibility because of the conflict of others seems somewhat irresponsible.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel trapped. I might also want my responsibilities, despite the challenges, despite the conflict. I might want to fulfill them somehow.
Mm-hmm. Certain sense of satisfaction, purpose, fulfillment.
So I allow myself to be pushed and pulled in various directions.
Is responsibility a problem? Because we try to meet that responsibility in thought.
It seems my notion of responsibility is constructed in thought already. If I consider myself to have certain responsibilities in school, towards my friends, towards my family, I've separated this responsibility from that responsibility, marked their differences, told myself ways in which my responsibility is to be exercised differently. And it seems that in the separation already I'm meeting my responsibilities in thought.
Mm-hmm.
And so perhaps a problem.
Mm-hmm. I find myself in a certain context, in a certain situation, or context, situations, plural.
Yeah.
And in thinking these over, reviewing them, in thought, determine what are my various responsibilities in each context.
Yeah. Either rightfully or not so rightfully.
Either taken upon myself or imposed from without.
Or like constructed in like a reasonable way. Given the situation, here's how I think it'd be reasonable to adapt this way.
If I have a child, I have a responsibility.
Yes, yes.
Like the situation itself makes the responsibility, not from myself or from another. And determining our responsibilities in thought, then acting based on thought to fulfill this sense of responsibility.
It seems not so different from constructing standards
Mm-hmm.
to meet this or that standard based on this or that context.
Thought as a responsive memory, stored knowledge, experience, in the body, in the brain. And then based on that thinking, acting.
I see. So in a way, not really responding to the situation at hand at all. We're reacting.
Always acting based on what I've already known, already experienced,
Already acted.
So trying to meet our responsibility in thought, through thought, with its limitations, acting from those limitations,
Conflict.
invariably.
And so I have various concerns about my responsibility, fulfilling those responsibilities, other people's responsibilities, them fulfilling theirs. Perhaps I have concerns about my safety. Perhaps I have concerns about other people's safety. What if they don't meet their responsibilities? My well-being. I see.
The danger I may pose to others. So making effort to meet our responsibility in thought is a denial of goodness.
Please say more.
Because in that I'm causing conflict.
I see.
We've said the good is not in conflict. If the good is in conflict, it's not the good.
I see. Though there might be the ending of conflict and good, or perhaps good and the ending of conflict.
With the ending of conflict, the good is there.
So good in conflict, but definitely not as such. Good, not in conflict, as in the good is not a participant or member of the conflict. It's not the thing colliding, clashing, warring, fighting. But perhaps in a completely different sense. There's good in conflict. I haven't cleared up the words, I think.
In the ending of it.
Yes. I see. So acting based on my previous actions, thoughts, you say is a denial of the good. Because it causes conflict.
Acting based on what I think I should do. Which is a movement of time, thought, the past, modifying itself as the present, projecting itself into the future.
I see. And it's also a denial of education. Because authority is present.
So responsibility constructed in thought is something of an ideal. Projections of what I think I should do.
I see. Or pursuit of the ideal?
Mhm.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Based on my own values, my own conclusions, my own prejudices.
I see. Trying to reach the ideal.
And also itself an ideal. Because setting standards of responsibility for myself, I find that I'm unable to meet those standards.
I see. Like completely. You might meet them with some precision in the interim, but inevitably they'll be shaking.
Falling short.
Yes. Unless.
Because those standards.
Somewhat of an ideal. This is the laughter. What followed the unless was an ideal. I was about to say unless. Yes, but what would have been expounded would have been an ideal. Yeah.
Setting standards for myself based on my background, as if there's something which exists separately from me, trying to meet those standards, coming into conflict with those standards. Because in that there's a division between what is and what should be.
Like a denial of dissatisfaction.
And so with that conflict, eroding my capacity, failing to meet the standards set by my ideal, what it means to be responsible, as I think about it.
In fact, I won't be dissatisfied. And I'll do whatever I can to not be dissatisfied.
I may take my responsibility in thought very lightly. My responsibility is to be happy, healthy. But basically, traditional burdens, societal expectations, fairly peripheral. But even if I take my responsibility lightly, my responsibility is to be happy, healthy. In that, denying dissatisfaction, pursuing satisfaction, all the danger involved in that. Entertainment, pleasure. So responsibility as an ideal is something of a non-fact.
I see. Are you saying that that's not what responsibility actually is? Or are you saying it doesn't have this reality when you say it's a non-fact?
Responsibility as we think about it is a non-fact. In that it's not actual, it's not acted. It's merely certain standards of success I set for myself. But because there's goodness, because there's the reality of goodness, the truth of goodness, actually there is a fact of responsibility. But we deny that fact when we turn responsibility into an ideal in thought. So what is responsibility? Not in the sense of what should be, but what is. What is responsibility now?
I see. Not in time. And therefore not a pursuit of a projected future or a denial of a imaged past.
Not a movement from a present state to a goal state.
I see. Somewhat addresses the spatial factor as well. Spatial. But there's still movement. Perhaps I just can't say where it takes place.
Action is necessary. But it's not necessary that thought be the cause of that action. If our actions are based on thought, those actions cause conflict.
So what is responsibility not in thought?
What is the fact of it?
Yes. What is its significance? What does it mean to be living, acting now, as opposed to reacting?
Actually, to respond to what's taking place. Not to respond to what I think is taking place. Not to respond to what's taking place by comparing it to what has taken place before. Or to respond to what's taking place based on how I desire things to be in future. So responsibility means my actual capacity to respond to what's taking place now. With an action, a perception that is not born out of thought. But rather seeing what's taking place, and with that seeing, acting. With no interval between seeing and acting.
The simple fact of responding.
The interval between perception and action is the me, is the observer, is the center. Action from a center with its periphery its limitations, causes conflict,
Mm.
and so actually is irresponsible. Responsibility is action without a center.
Are you suggesting it's irresponsible for me to think before I respond?
But presumably one has lived much of their life this way.
And living our lives based in thought, constructing the world we find around us. Corrupt, competitive, brutal, exploitative. Fractured, divisive.
But not that these things are bad. But in fact, they are just what they are. Corruption, division.
Not to be condemnatory with respect to the state of the world, because it's a fact. But actually, the fact of the world as it is not good.
I see. Not that it could be better. But that it's not good.
Mm-hmm. If I try to make the world better, what is better is based in what is worse. And so comparison, which is thought. Also an interval of time between the world as it is now and the better world that will be. So responsibility means freedom. It's not a dreary affair. It's not an imposition.
It's not a war. I'm not responsible for making the world a better place.
It's not a cultural standard. Responsibility is simply the fact of my capacity to respond, which is denied if my action is based in thought.
Does responsibility have a relationship to intelligence? Intelligence is another word which has frequented our dialogues.
Mm-hmm.
It might be most appropriate to explore intelligence with respect to responsibility.
Responsibility is the action of intelligence.
I see. Would you say that responsibility is intelligent action?
I don't know if I would want to say that intelligence is a property of that action.
I see. Like leaning towards the expression of responsibility is intelligence. Or to be responsible is to be intelligent. It's not quite.
Then it makes it seem that intelligence is
Yes.
something of an identity.
Yes.
But rather the action of that intelligence in daily life is responsible.
Yes. I was going to say operation.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps operation has a somewhat mechanical kind of notion.
Yeah, slightly technical.
Yes. Seems more particularly oriented than action does. Being an operator, an operative.
Intelligence is not put together by thought. Intelligence doesn't take time. So is not localized in space. Which means intelligence is not yours or mine. It's intelligence.
Right. It's not a product of comparison. Meaning, it's not more or less.
And when there is an understanding of thought, its nature, its structure, its origin, its activity in daily life, with that understanding is the action of intelligence.
I see, like understanding the interval between perception and action.
And therefore not thinking in terms of that interval.
Is interval still there?
When thought becomes aware of its own limits, it undergoes a radical transformation.
Thought? I see.
Because being aware of its own limits, thought ceases to think in terms of time. In that there's a totally new kind of thinking, which functions in its right place.
But does the interval get eliminated? Or is it understood? Like it's just not there anymore?
Understanding the interval is its ending.
Are you suggesting time becomes a null factor? Or it's in fact not a factor at all? Like, doesn't exist.
Time is necessary. To move from one place to another, one needs time. To digest food, one needs time. To speak, to use language, one needs time.
Oh, perhaps there's a transformation in the content which we call time.
Thought is no longer measuring time within itself. Because being unaware of what it is, its limitations, thought thinks that psychological time is something different from it. But actually the movement of thought is the movement of psychological time. So being aware of itself, its own limitations, there's no movement of thought, except for when absolutely necessary.
I see. Except for when absolutely necessary. Which isn't a part of the thought anyway. So in fact, being irresponsible is unintelligent.
One doesn't want to say by definition because it reduces it to an analytical thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yes. Quite obviously so.
Well, the symmetry is like undeniable. I agree with your sentiment of not wanting to make it a matter of analysis.
Mm-hmm.
This side looks like that side. Well, that's not quite what symmetry is, but anyway. It's a poor description of symmetry. Look at one side first and then you look at the other side. It's not quite what's going on, is it?
We might also talk over the question of care.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a relationship between care and responsibility.
And intelligence.
Ordinarily, we think of care as something of an investment.
I see, because I can withhold it.
Our care is limited by our backgrounds, by our knowledge, experience, personal relationships.
Mm-hmm. One often finds themselves asking the question, why should I care?
Mm-hmm. I care about,
Or I don't care.
I care about what I've cared about before.
Or if it's something new that I care about, it's with respect to things I cared about before.
Mm-hmm. So care, as we think about it, always has a relationship to the past. Care is limited to one's personality, to one's person. I care about essentially the me. With its furniture, its family, its occupation, reputation, status, position, so on.
Sentiment.
Mm-hmm. And being limited in this way, and also demanding energy, care is experienced as something of an investment. And
I see, that takes time to build up the me, personality.
mm-hmm.
You need to invest.
And from that investment, I expect a return.
Yeah.
If I care about someone and they don't respond to me in a way I find appropriate,
Either consciously or unconsciously.
mm-hmm. This goes on for enough time, I get frustrated, resentful.
I see, I'm done with you. Mm-hmm. If only you were actually done with them. But they linger in your mind.
So care that is based on the past is a finite resource.
Mm-hmm.
And as a finite resource, there's an economics to it.
Which like responsibility.
Care is traded, it's exchanged.
Mm-hmm. Like my energy and time my space to meet certain responsibilities and not others, to care about this and not that.
Care that is limited in this way is inadequate to meet our responsibility.
In fact, I don't want to care this way.
In action, action which is not separated from perception by an interval, there is infinite care.
Tremendous care. Infinite. You must say more. You mean it's not numbered? Yeah, please.
Care which is not limited by my thinking, by my history.
Would you use unlimited synonymously? Why infinite? Or infinite?
As a negation of finitude.
You should say total.
Unlimited. Unlimited care.
Yeah. So you would use it synonymously. Not quite.
Not quite.
Yeah, it's a different sense to it.
Uh-huh.
I was asking total. Total care. As infinite. Yeah, maybe. I see. Not care about this or that. Immense care.
And caring about this does not prohibit me from caring about that.
Yes. Not caring in conflict.
Not one care opposed to another care. So with this care, the question arises, what are the responsible people to do about the irresponsible people? So we've said not to condemn, not to be in conflict.
There may be tremendous passion. One may be tempted to be carried away by this passion.
If I'm carried away by passion, is it passion or is it lust?
It may be the tremendous energy found in attention. And in fact, in attention you don't get carried away. So not lust. Yes, but what is the relationship between responsibility and irresponsibility? What are the attentive to do with the inattentive? the relationship between caring and not caring. You say, in fact, I don't care.
Or finite care.
Yes. Well, I wonder if one can not care.
You know,
I don't want to speculate and draw a conclusion. But
if I didn't care, I couldn't act. At least I have to care about myself.
something. I don't know if I've ever seriously considered the question. No care. I don't know. I've definitely had the feeling of not caring about this or that. But
Even if I want to end my life, I have to care about ending my life, about not caring.
I have to put it together.
Take action.
Yes, yes.
Coordinate.
Not want this.
My limbs.
That is like want, not this. I have to be partially attentive to something. No attention. Total inattention. The relationship that comes to mind is education.
So then what is the manner of that education? Because if I'm irresponsible, I won't listen to you.
I see.
If I apply myself to listening to you, I'm already beginning to move away from my irresponsibility.
I see. I'm being educated.
But if I refuse that education, what is your responsibility towards me?
I see. Responsibility may have no relationship to irresponsibility as such. But I still care. There's tremendous care.
I'm irresponsible. I'm causing havoc
Yes, yes. But in
for
fact,
myself and for the world.
I won't do a thing for you. It would be irresponsible if I did. But I care tremendously. So what is the nature of this education?
What is the action that takes place there?
What is the ending of irresponsibility? Which is responsibility. I'm not sure, I just don't know what it looks like, that's the thing.
Deliberately, you can do nothing. Because if you take action deliberately, consciously,
As a reaction to irresponsibility, it is in fact irresponsible.
uh-huh.
Even logically, it just plays out this way.
Because if you try to take conscious action towards me, I resist it.
Mm-hmm.
And so further the movement of irresponsibility.
Right. And so I resist your resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is there a non-deliberate action in which there is a relationship, a communication, between the responsible and the irresponsible?
Like on love? Is it possible? But it's such a lofty word. I'm not sure if one can get a real sense of what that would be, what that relationship would be.
Is there a relationship between love and hate?
I don't think in the colloquial sense.
If I hate you,
I could do some mental gymnastics with my understanding of hate, but in the colloquial sense.
and you say you love me, it has no meaning for me.
I have no understanding of this love. Because I have, yes. If I'm irresponsible, and someone is speaking to me, I'm not listening.
Mm-hmm. So love will not penetrate into my irresponsibility.
Penetrate. I see. Does it just encompass it? It doesn't cross that boundary. Is this what you're suggesting?
Does love embrace hate?
Oh, that sounds quite peculiar. Perhaps poetically. You get the sense of which I'm speaking of, right?
Personally, I don't trust poets.
I don't think they trust themselves. Inspired by the muses, they say. Who are these muses? No.
So what is the action there? What is the communication?
Which is responsible.
Mm-hmm. What is it
So, right.
that will begin to move me away from my irresponsibility?
It's a rather unsettling question.
Mm-hmm.
In considering irresponsibility, responsibility becomes a non-factor.
In considering irresponsibility.
Like there's no responsibility.
I question it.
Okay, please.
If I have an image of you and you have no image of me, what is your responsibility towards me?
I could either fulfill the image or negate it.
Somehow there must be an action which brings about the ending of that image.
Yeah. That is responsibility. The action of responsibility is to end irresponsibility.
If I'm interested, if I'm curious, a little bit, you can begin to point out to me the image is false.
I see. If
You
you're
say-
listening.
Uh-huh.
I see. So in
But
fact,
already
if you're
there,
being
I'm moving
responsible.
away from my irresponsibility.
Yes. So in fact, you're not irresponsible.
Uh-huh. But to understand that something is false, I have to be able to look at it objectively.
I see. I can't hold on to the conclusion that it is true or false or any of the such.
But if I'm irresponsible, I don't have that capacity.
Supposedly not.
So before you can tell me it's false, what will you communicate towards me that will make me move away from this thing, loosen my grip on this thing?
I see. In the current state of affairs, communication is not possible. In fact, you're being totally inattentive, my friend. I can't speak to you.
Although I am in a state of inattention, as a consequence of being in that state of inattention, my brain is seeking security.
Hmm.
That seeking security does not take place consciously, deliberately.
Is it though it might?
Though it might. So, can you communicate to me, not deliberately, not consciously, the danger of my irresponsibility?
Yes. Although I wouldn't be the one communicating. In the fact of that relationship, there would be a responsibility. And if there's a responsibility and if there's any danger to it, it will express itself naturally without any effort to do so. Just the mere fact of inattention and irresponsibility will rear its head in that relationship. And either they can attend to this or not.
The very responsibility acts.
I see. And being responsible, I don't accept this relationship or deny it. Either the fact of the relationship is there or it isn't.
If I throw a rock at you,
Oh dear.
and you throw a rock at me, I don't see the danger in me throwing a rock at you.
I see. I see the danger of you throwing a rock at me.
But if you throw a rock at me and I don't throw a rock at you, 1 time, 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, at a certain point I must ask myself why I'm throwing a rock.
Why am I throwing a rock?
Yeah.
Why throw a rock? Me, why throw a rock?
What is this rock throwing mechanism?
I see. And I don't throw rocks because I just don't want to.
Mhm.
It's just not a thing. It's not that I want to and I'm resisting the urge to.
No. Because you understand what it means to throw rocks.
No one might find themselves in a place where they're resisting the urge to throw rocks back.
Yes.
This might be a common occurrence.
So there's a relationship between the responsible and the irresponsible, where the responsible communicates not consciously, deliberately, but to the deeper recesses of the mind, to the unconscious. The urgent demand of the brain to seek security.
I see. In fact, if there is peace, the ending of conflict. And peace makes no such movements. It's just there.
Mm-hmm.
Conflict brings itself to an end. Holy moly. I see.
From the action of responsibility, the other sees the danger in their irresponsibility.
And if they're at all intelligent,
From there is a relationship without images.
I see. So the continuation of danger is rather unintelligent. And those who are responsible are doing so as to set an example, which becomes yet another standard.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me in my path, in my footsteps.
Not a model, not an ideal.
Unless one could, per se, be an example without expectation.
Just to indicate a certain possibility.
Yes. To live a significant life.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than be an exemplar for others.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, that I can't help you. I can't even help myself.
Mm-hmm. Help means knowledge and time.
And another which is separate from me. That's when we'll talk about total health. Might be relevant to total care.
So to tend, perhaps.
Help isn't quite the right word, I don't think. Loses its touch.
So with responsible relationship, there is love, freedom, and education.
ending of conflict. Peace.
War go down, peace go up.
Man like for a rock.